Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Paranormal, the New Normal presents Paranormal Primetime. That's right. We're here on I guess we'll call it a Freaky Friday, for lack of a better name right now, to talk another two episodes of everybody's favorite paranormal show, and that's Supernatural, of course. Hey, Harley, thanks for watching, as always. But my co-host Malachi is with me, of course, to help me break down these fun episodes.
And I will say this week's episodes were fucking awesome.
Yeah, I had no complaints about these episodes.
Yeah. I thought these were great. I thought yours was like the audience can wait, but like yours was one of the best episodes ever created, I think.
It definitely had its moments, that's for damn sure. But
yeah,
they can wait because, of course, odd number goes first, which means yours goes first.
Okay, so mine is Supernatural Season 2, Episode 11, called Playthings. And it's funny because this is like one of the episodes I watched when I wanted to do what we're doing right now. Like this is an episode I've seen multiple times too, so like it was in the head, but it's written by Matt Whitten and directed by Charles Beeson. So now we're starting to see like writers and directors we've never heard from. I thought that was a little mix up. Like normally, they're swapping back and forth, but these guys totally different.
That's a good thing. Yes.
Yeah. No, it was a good episode. So this episode starts off, and we see this like sign with the Thompson clan logo printed on it, and it's called Pierpont Inn, established in 1930. Then we cut to this like white van, aka my future home. I really want one of those fucking step side FedEx vans. And we see the movers, right? Like the movers in there, they're obviously moving out of this inn, and we see these two little girls playing. And then they go to this massive dollhouse, and it wasn't noticed yet, but it looks like the exact copy of what we've seen of the house. And they have a doll of the mover, and the mover is at the end of the fucking stairs with his head turned around. And then the mom screams, "Doo doo doo," and we see the dude with his neck twisted at the end of the stairs. So then we cut to Sam and Dean still looking from Ava from last week, the girl with the powers like Sam, Ava Wilson, and they're talking to Ellen, and they've got no leads, so they decide to go investigate this, which is what Ellen gave them. And Dean, they show up, and Dean is excited to be like searching an old school haunted house, especially with people with British accents.
Classic Dean.
They're bantering back and forth, and then Dean says, "Hey, maybe we'll run into Fred and Daphne." Daphne. So and that actually does come in later on. There's no spoilers, but foreshadowing. There might be something like that. So as they're walking into the hotel, Sam spots this like big metal vase, and it's got a quincunx or a 5 spot. So kind of like a 5 on a dice painted in there. And they're wondering, is this hoodoo spell work? But at the same time, there's no fucking blood mead, which I guess to do this spell, you would need to plant the blood mead by or near this fucking vase. And then when they go and meet the lady at the front desk, she thinks Sam and Dean look like gay antiquers. That'll come into play later on, but that was fucking. I thought that was hilarious. And then the bellboy comes in, which is not a boy. Spoiler: he's like fucking 80, and he thinks they're gay antiquers too. This whole hotel that they're in, it's like a bed and breakfast type, Shining type hotel, like somebody's old mansion that they converted into a bed and breakfast. And there's nobody in this thing, and they think Sam and Dean are gay antiquers. So as the bellboy's walking them up, they realize like the fucking bellboy's been here. They at this point they know that this lady's moving out of here. She said like you're gonna be one of our last guests. Ominous. No, we're moving out. Blah blah blah. But the bellboy's going over about how his parents worked here and he knows the whole fucking hotel. And this is kind of like the lead into us pointing the accusations at the bellboy. Um, he fits the motives, and then he tells Sam and Dean when he's done, they try to just leave the bellboy. And he's like, don't be cheap on me, boy. Then they're going over the case, and this is where we find out all the victims so far. So, victim one was Joan Edison, 40, a realtor for the sale of the hotel, died at the hotel. And then victim two was the Goodwill dude that we saw in the beginning die, Larry Williams. And they're putting it together. Both of these people are kind of like connected to moving this family out and leaving the fucking bed and breakfast place. But that's when they go over it and they're like thinking, I don't think it could be the owner of the house, and it doesn't seem to be the bellboy. So like, let's not go kill them right off the bat. And then Dean asks the more poignant question: why do they assume we're gay? um, so they're scoping the fucking little hotel out, and Sam finds another one of those 5-point quincunx marks on another vase inside of the house. And then they just like go fucking knock on the owner's private home dwelling like assholes. And this part's pretty funny. But Dean says that Sam has a big time obsession with antique dolls, and then gives him the eyes like, you better play along with this shit. He dresses them up all the time. It would make Sam's day if he could come in and see the walls they have or the fucking dolls he's got in the background. And then what do we got here? That's when they find the exact replica of the building. That's the dollhouse. We saw the little girl playing, and this is when we know for sure that like the fucking dollhouse the little girl's playing in is an exact replica of the estate. And then one of the girls shows up, and she talks about how they've got Grandma Rose upstairs. So they go split off. They're going to investigate the house, and Dean says, let's go surfing for evidence. Don't go surfing for porn. That's not the type of whacking I mean. That was a good quote. And then we cut to the fucking lawyer talking to the lady that owns the property, and they're talking about how they're planning on demolishing the hotel. And we see the door open in the dollhouse, and then we see the doll of the fucking lawyer hanging in a room, and then the lawyer gets caught in a fucking ceiling fan and dies. So we got 3 dead bodies. I think they would have shut that hotel down after 3 dead bodies in there. What do you think?
I don't know if they would shut it down. I mean, it's an inn. It's not really like a big hotel or anything. It's just like a little small inn.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there are no guests here. 3 people have died in under a month. I think they would like
I
that lady
mean,
would be in prison.
I think she wouldn't be in prison because they can't charge you with shit and arrest you even unless they have some kind of proof. But they
Oh, that's bullshit. They would have
she
blamed it on her.
she'd definitely be under high investigation. There'd be like cops staking out the place and everything.
Okay, so after this, we cut to Sam is just drunk. Like he's more drunk than I am right now, wasted. And Sam's upset that he didn't save this lawyer that just fucking died. And he didn't save Ava, and he's going on this long diatribe about how, like, if I can save these people, maybe I can save myself from becoming like an evil demon thing that he thinks he's gonna fucking become. And I think this is the first time that Sam is called Sasquatch.
It is. It's a first.
Okay. And I think it's also the first time where Sam, because he'll say it later on, but he says, "Hey, if I turn evil, you've got to kill me, Dean." And he makes Dean promise. And that's kind of like the background story of this episode. So Sam makes Dean promise to fucking kill him when he turns evil, and then we go into this cool Hobbit music in this bed and breakfast. I thought that was pretty dope. Um, yeah,
Well,
Sam
I
and
mean,
Dean, I already said that.
at a Hobbit bed and breakfast, so you gotta serve breakfast twice.
You need 11 Cs. You need 11 Cs. But this is where it really kicked in, where like Sam and Dean are the only customers in this fucking hotel. And the lady has, like, the lady's making money off of the hotel. She has this 80-year-old bellboy and maids in the hotel. And I don't know what this evil spirit expects of this. Like, capitalism still rules at the end of the day. The bitch needs customers, and she's like fucking killing everybody, right? Like, how is this working out? I don't know what this ghost expects. So then Dean walks into this place has a fucking bar too, where the bellboy acts as the bartender, and he's talking it up with this bellboy who's 80 and asking him for a drink,
I,
pours a
I
drink.
I feel like that scene was kind of reminiscent of your favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, that shitty movie I hate, The Shining. More like The Shit Stain. That would have been a better movie for that, or name for that movie. But Dean's trying to get information, and he says, "I would love to hear some old stories." And this one comes to terms with me because the bellboy says, "You should never say that to an old man." And I know this from experience because I managed a fucking retirement home. You let these old people fucking go on, they are going to go on for hours, dude.
Oh God, yeah,
Old
God, yeah.
old people burning. Old people burning, put your hands up. Okay. So then now they got to go fucking talk to Grandma Rose. And when they go up, they break in. It's this like 3 minute break in, Mission Impossible, walking slow. I had kind of a problem with that thing too. But they get up to Grandma. Grandma's through a door, up some stairs, another door. And they see Grandma sitting there, and they see a picture of Nanny Hoodoo Marie sitting there with the fucking little girl that's now Grandma Rose. And and Grandma Rose is just like fucked up, right? She had a stroke or something. What do we got here? Oh no! Before they do that, sorry. Dean comes back into the hotel room and he's laughing at Sam's fucking horrible hangover, mixing whiskey and tequila, and then offers him a hangover recipe of a greasy pork sandwich in a dirty ashtray. And apparently that was a reference to some gay movie I'd never seen. Do you have that gay movie? We're moving. Then they break into Grandma Rose's house, right? And they find out she's a stroke patient. They ask, is she faking? And then the fucking daughter finds them like harassing the grandma and says, if you're not out of this fucking hotel in 2 minutes, I'm calling the police. So then it cuts to the two girls playing, the mom asking the girl, are you packed? And then we find out, Maggie, you are too old for an imaginary friend. So now we find out, this is like the first thing when I saw this one again, I remembered like that second girl ain't there. And then we cut to like the old guy moving out. It's the last day of the hotel. The girl is playing outside with some like gay ass old toys, or inside with some gay ass old toys. And then we cut to that fucking dollhouse and we see the swings going in the dollhouse. And then the mom standing by the real swings and we see those swings start to go. And then like all the playground equipment starts to go. And the car in the background of the playground starts and it's like revving its engine and heading towards her and it's about to slam her, but Sam jumps and saves her.
All she
Like the
really would have had to do,
Sasquatch he is.
all she really would have had to do was just run behind the tree.
Yeah. Or any of that other playground equipment. That shit seemed pretty sturdy.
Yep.
Okay, so Sam saves the girl. And why did I say whiskey? Whiskey, what happened? Oh, okay. So they're like telling the lady, like, hey, this isn't just a fluke accident. Like, you've got ghosts and shit. She's asking what happened. Do you want the truth? And they go through that whole thing, right? Like, this lady doesn't believe in ghosts and shit. And they find out that Rose, the grandma up in the fucking attic, was using the hoodoo to ward off the spirit, not to like summon the spirit to kill everybody. And this is when Sam and Dean find out because they're talking about this girl was talking about her sister that she'd play with, but she only has one daughter. And this is just the fucking lights on. Okay, little girl seeing the ghost. We got to kill the ghost. Boop, 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 boop. The ghost bitch is up bothering grandma and saying like we can have like if you kill yourself we can have lots of tea parties forever and ever and ever. And then they walk in, Sam and Dean and the mom walk in and all the fucking dolls are broken and they cannot find the little girl Tyler. So then they find out that the little girl was only talking about the ghost little girl Tyler after the grandma had her fucking stroke. So now they know that like the grandma wasn't able to do the hoodoo anymore, and that's why this little ghost C word came in. And the fucking mom, I don't remember the middle bitch's name. We got three tiers of women, right? The grandma, the daughter Tyler, and then the mom was like, "Oh shit,
Susan.
my mom did have a sister named Maggie." And that's where you get the Margaret thing. And she drowned in a pool. So now we cut to the ghost girl and Tyler hanging off the edge of this like badass looking atrium pool thing they got going on in this house. And there's a cover over the pool, so like this girl falls in, she's gonna drown for sure. And sure enough, the little girl falls in, and the ghost girl is holding this other little girl's head underwater, which is kind of a dick move. And Sam saves the girl. So hold on, give me 1 second. Oh, they keep asking Tyler, the little girl, like, do you not see Maggie anywhere? Like, and the old lady had called her sister back to make a fucking deal, like, don't kill my granddaughter, and you can have me, and we can play forever. And the grandma's probably tired as fuck at this point, right? Could you imagine being like 80 years old and then wanting to go play with your 5-year-old sister for eternity? Jesus Christ. Grandma's dead. And after these 4 deaths, the lady would have definitely been investigated, is all I'm saying. Like 4 deaths, 1 hotel, as they're moving out. Is this insurance fraud? I have no fucking idea. So they ask to make sure Maggie's not around anymore. There's this awkward goodbye, and then the mom and the daughter go away in this awkward looking fucking 1990s taxi. But then we find out that Sam did remember Dean's promise to kill him if he turned evil. Because Dean was hoping that Sam was too drunk to remember. And it ends with the 2 little girls, not the one that was terrorized in this video, but the Grandma Rose and the ghost girl jumping rope. But then it pans to this doll that looked exactly like the ghost of, or the like a, they make those recreation dolls of a girl that died and it had the same hair and everything. So they could have just burnt that doll, I think. I think that was a nod to that.
I mean, this whole episode's a nod to Puppet Master, but yeah.
I thought it was a good one. I gave it a 5 out of 5. Then I saw your episode.
Yeah, I would easily give this episode a, man, I'll even call it a 4.5 out of 5. It's a good Monster of the Week episode, and it gets the job done.
Yeah, no, I didn't really have a lot of problems, other than the lady would have definitely, like, if that happened in LA County, there's no way. After the second murder, she would have been, like, in county, questioned. They would have got her on something. They would have found some reason to lock that lady up. CPS would have been called,
Yeah,
especially
I mean,
back then.
oh, I don't know. Things were a lot more relaxed in the early 2000s, but
Not in California.
well, I mean, this was in some podunk town in the middle of nowhere, wasn't it?
I think it was up by you, wasn't it? Did I
Oh,
write that
Connecticut.
down?
It was Connecticut.
Yeah, yeah. Great episode. I don't have anything else. I kind of got the Scooby Doo references and everything. There wasn't really any special guest stars, but it was a great episode. Like, if you were to watch Supernatural for the first time, I would think this would be a good episode to watch. You didn't really need to know
Uh,
anybody. You kind of met people. There is a little storyline going on, but it was a good episode.
bless you. I mean, it's a Monster of the
God
Week
bless you.
episode. It's a Monster of the Week episode, so you get it's those are always good.
Yeah.
There was a funny error on it in this episode because um, when she tells them to get out or she'll call the cops, the shot of them driving away is used again at the episode's conclusion, and but at the end of the episode, you can see Susan still standing on the left side of the screen, and she's not fully cropped out during when they use it the second time. So I didn't catch that, but I happened to see that later on online. I was like, "What?" It's like,
Yeah,
wow,
I'm
that's
watching on the
sloppy.
small TV, so without my glasses, so I don't catch any of that visual crap. Okay, let's get into your episode, dude. Your episode, one of the best, for sure.
Well, my episode, which was season 2, episode 12, Nightshifter, badass name to begin with, uh, written by Ben and Edlund and directed by Phil I don't even know how to pronounce that last name. Sigaricia, I guess. But basically, the episode opens up, and it's a breaking news story. A bank in downtown Milwaukee is being held up. There's police everywhere, paramedics, blah blah, helicopters, and SWAT team's ready to enter. And the front door of the bank opens, and you see a man being escorted out of the building by Dean, looking frantically at all the cameras and police cars outside. And then it jumps back into one day earlier when Sam and Dean are dressed as FBI agents, question two employees at a local jewelry shop about the most recent robbery. And Helena, one of the employees, had been there for years, and the previous night she cleaned out all the display cases in the safe. Edgar, the night watchman, caught her, but she managed to grab his gun and shot him in the face. She then went home and killed herself by throwing a hairdryer in the bathtub. There was no reason why she would do this, so nobody could figure it out. But the cops get a hold of the security camera before any of the employees can look at them. And Franny, another one of the employees that Sam and Dean interviewed, tries to hit on Dean, and he manages to get her phone number because he's a Mac Daddy. But later we jump to a scene later that night when they pay a visit to Ronald Resnick's house, a very substantial character in this episode. He's a security guard at Milwaukee National Trust. About a month ago, a similar incident to the one that happened at the jewelry store happened at the bank. Guy robbed the bank and then went home and apparently committed suicide. Ron asks to see the boys' IDs, looking at their badges, and he's still suspicious. Give me a second.
Yeah, no. Little guy needs something.
Apologies, folks. Parenthood takes a call sometimes. But
yeah, no, my son's 18 now. I can't wait for the grandbabies. They're fun when they're that age.
Yeah. But
you got a while.
Yeah, I know. But he tells them Ronald invites Sam and Dean in though to let them know what really happened that night at the bank. He starts off by saying that Juan Morales never robbed the bank. He said that that thing in the bank wasn't Juan. However, it has exact physical features. He continues ranting about how this is a work of a mandroid living in the sewer system, and he shows him a magazine cover featuring one, which is actually a picture of a Cyberman from Doctor Who. For anybody who doesn't get the reference, it's a Cyberman from Doctor Who. But
I wouldn't have got it.
Oh, I got it right away. I was like, oh, I didn't get the first time I saw this episode back years ago, but I've watched Doctor Who since then, so I know Cybermen.
I've never seen it.
He shows the Sam and Dean copies of security tapes at the bank, and Juan is seen with his eyes flaring at the camera, or as Ron calls it, laser eyes. He's trying to steer Ron away from the case. Sam gives Ron a reality check, saying there's no such thing as mandroids, and that the laser eyes just camera flare. Dean's a little uncomfortable to just flat out lie to him, so as he did a lot of the work for them. We jump back to the boys in their hotel room, where they grab hold of the tapes from Ron's house, and they recognize that they're hunting another shapeshifter, like the one in St. Louis that poses Dean. And Dean asked Sam why he threw Ron out the case. Sam basically said, Ron's not a hunter. Why should we put him in danger? Just because he's happened to stumble across something real. If he was to go up against Shapeshifter, he'd get himself killed. Looking at a map of the sword, Dean realizes there's more than one bank in that line that the Shapeshifter might target next. We go next to the City Bank of Milwaukee. The boys disguise themselves as workers from a security system company in order to gain access to the surveillance camera so they can try to find the shapeshifter. They watch for hours, and there's no sign of the shifter until they get a close-up shot of the bank manager and see his eyes flare at the camera. They also happen to see Dean is actually like, motherfucker, as he sees Ron locking up the front door of the bank with a chain at around 12:10 a.m. He runs into the lobby and pulls out his rifle and orders it to the ground because Ron came in with a big ass assault rifle for some reason. But Sam and Dean walk out and try to start talking to Ron. He realizes that they aren't FBI agents at that point. He orders two of them to the ground with the rest of the hostages. They see no other option, so Dean starts trying to tell Ron the truth about the case. But there's really something in the bank, but it's not a mandroid. And Dean says they need to find the bank manager before the shapeshifter is in him, because the shapeshifter is in him, not before. And Ron tells Dean to come with him, but he locks everyone else in the vault, including Sam, because as Sam said earlier in the episode, I don't think he likes me. He straight up says, I don't like you. I don't trust you. But a couple minutes later, we're in the bank manager's office, and Dean and Ron burst into it, only to find a layer of shed skin behind the desk. And Dean explains to Ron that when a shapeshifter changes its form, it sheds its skin and now could be anybody. Outside the bank, we see police surround the building, helicopters, and the SWAT team getting ready to enter at any minute. We're back in the bank. The police cut the power to the bank, which sucks for this kind of case. And Sam and Dean are trying to figure out what to do next. Since the cops shut off the power, they have no access to cameras, so there's no way to tell who the shapeshifter is. It could be anywhere. And either way, they got to Yep. Either way, they got to gather though, because Dean is still wanted by the cops from previous episodes. Dean decides to go sweep the building to try and find the shapeshifter. And with one of the security guards appears to be having a heart attack, and Sam sees no other way but to phone the cops to ask for a paramedic. In one of the offices in the bank, Dean notices a crack in the ceiling. He breaks it open with the coat rack in the room, and a dead body falls to the floor. Turning it over, he realizes that the shapeshifter is now the African-American guy in the vault. Dean rushes back to the vault, and he and Sam bring the security guard out to lure the shapeshifter into a trap. The shapeshifter manages to escape, with Ron running after it. Ron falls right into the sniper trap. The cops are outside, though, and is shot through the back and falls to the ground dead. Even as Dean tries to warn him, but, too little, too late.
Well, Dean feels bad too, because he could become a hunter, right? Like, I think Dean kind of wanted to take him under his wing.
Yeah. God help him if he took him under his wing, but yeah. But
because he did good hunting.
Yeah. He did good investigating. He should be an investigator.
Investigating. Yeah.
But at this point, we see that what we saw in the beginning of the episode take place, because Dean escorts the security guard having the heart issues out of the building, and Sam goes after the shapeshifter. Sam finds more shed skin, and he tells Dean it could be anyone again. Dean goes back to the vault. He rounds up all the employees, and outside the building, we see all the feds start to arrive, and the phone rings, and Dean picks it up, and it's Special Agent Henriksen, who immediately recognizes Dean's voice. He demands for him and Sam to come out of the building, and he says it's become his job to know about the Winchesters, and that he's been tracking the two of them for weeks. He knows about the murders in St. Louis, and the slip-up in Baltimore, and the cheap motels and thefts. He gives Dean an hour to make a decision, or the SWAT team will swarm into full force. In one of the offices, Sam finds Sherry's dead body in the closet. They bring Sherry out of the vault and show her the dead body, which, imagine seeing your own dead body laying next to you.
That was a fun scene. Scene.
It was definitely a fun scene. She starts screaming and she faints, seeing her own dead body. And they're trying to decide which one is the shapeshifter. They hear glass shatter, meaning SWAT team's entering. Dean turns around, and when he's not paying attention, the shapeshifter grabs him by the throat. The shapeshifter then headbutts him twice and escapes. He catches up to her, and he rams up against the wall, stabbing a silver knife right through its heart. Officially killing her.
Well, hold up. Before this, like the lady that faints, he's got his little silver letter opener, and he's like over the girl that fainted, and Sam's like, hey, wait, how does this help the shapeshifter? And then Dean's like, yeah, you're right. It's got to be the other one.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're just about to like fucking stab people indiscriminately. It was good.
But at that point, they find a way out of the bank without being arrested. They're trying to find a way out of the bank, I should say. And two SWAT team members tell Sam to freeze in the hall, but he ends up knocking them out. Which I'm sorry, but if they're good SWAT team members, you ain't knocking them out. They would have killed them. But
Well, and they got the headgear and shit. Yeah, I
yeah,
get it.
I mean, it was a little unrealistic. But Sam and Dean get the uniforms and leave the building. And by the time Agent Henriksen arrives, all that remains are the tied up SWAT team members in a closet. And Sam and Dean we see them walking down the back alley to the parking garage, a couple blocks down the road where the Impala's parked. And as soon as they get in the Impala, Dean turns to Sam and says, "We are so screwed." And Sam just nods his head as they drive off to one of the greatest songs ever, Renegade by Styx. And I gotta say, I love the way they ended this episode. I really do.
What do you rate this?
I mean, this episode is easily a 5 out of 5. It was freaking incredible. But
I'm giving it a 33.3 out of 5. I think this is one of the greatest episodes they ever made.
It's up there. I mean, we get a lot better episodes than this in later seasons. A lot better. But
I don't even like the John Wick shit, but like this, like I don't like John Wick or any of those Taken movies or any of that shit. This is kind of like it. This was a fucking awesome episode.
But there was some trivia in this episode I got to hit. And Mandroid actually was previously used in X-Files in the episode Jose Chung's from Outer Space. And basically, there's an X-Files episode named Foleodux, and the basic plot is the same. A man holding people in a bank to protect them from a monster. And the guy's last name in the X-Files episode was Resnick as well. So
okay.
They kind of stole some X-Files, but and the title of this episode, Night Shift, is it's the name of a Henry Winkler comedy movie from '82, The Fonz.
The Fonz. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly, and with Sam and Dean, and that's interesting. With Sam and Dean walking out with full SWAT gear, why they never? It's not known why they never use it in the future. I mean, spoiler, folks, but it's not really a spoiler because they don't use it. So I'm guessing they dispose of it somewhere because you never see it again. But I don't know. But that's basically all I got. I mean, other than that, this episode was just pretty freaking fun. It was a fun, great episode. I loved it. So, I mean,
there's more episodes with the FBI agent in control. And
he tries. Yeah, he tries to go after them for a long time. So.
Yeah, no. This like ties into later episodes. This one was fucking awesome, I thought.
Yep. But that will do it for this week, folks. We'll be back this Thursday, back on our normal night. Thursday, our normal night. To bring you the next two episodes. So come back then and check it out. Until then, everybody have a good holiday weekend and take advice from Malachi and don't drink too much.
But drink as much as you can. Hopefully next week's episodes are just as good. Cheers, fuckers. Open a beer.
We will see. Have a good one, everybody.